While I was with my partner and looking for an out or looking for a fix, how to fix it, how to make it work, and ultimately getting to the point where I knew that I didn't want to fix it. I knew I didn't want support to stay in it, and I needed to get out. You touched on the fact that I called a number of agencies. Now, what I would say to those individuals within the agencies that are there to provide support is, first of all, to be sensitive to women who are experiencing this. I was not suicidal, but I know of women who were in abusive situations that were suicidal. I know of other women who felt that they just wanted to fade away. Myself, I felt that I needed someone that would understand, that would empathize, and that can probably direct me to the resources that I needed. At one point, I was not working, was not coaching, so I was financially dependent. This is a very big piece for women that are in abusive situations. Now, I was told to go on welfare. For me, that was very demeaning. I did not want to go on welfare. I didn't feel the need to be on welfare. And I know maybe in agencies you would say, well, you do what you have to do. Well, you have to understand you're going to have women coming through the door that have got their own feelings about things. That if I go on welfare, it means that I'm totally dependent. And I feel like I'm sliding down instead of climbing up. And that was where I was. So I called a Jewish organization and said, okay, I've got my own business. How can you help me? Well, they are so tightly circumscribed that there was really no way I felt that they were being flexible to assist me. Because I would have had to take away the little independence that I had and become totally dependent. And for women that are in abusive situations, they're trying to protect themselves. We're trying to protect ourselves. So making us more dependent obviously doesn't work for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all. That I come into an agency and you can say, well, you know what? 6 months from now, another program will be starting and I'll put you on out in Scarborough. I went to one organization. They said, 3 to 4 months, we're going to be starting another group, another support group for abused women. Now, and I understand about funding and I understand about all this. So where can you send me where there's another group? You can go to the Catholic agency and then you hear more or less the same thing. One of the things I think, and this is larger than the agency, so probably goes back to the government, the system, is that I don't think there's enough funding out there for the abused women's situations. I don't think it's taken as seriously. Women are losing their lives. Women are ending up in mental institutions because not only that the individuals that are in those agencies are so overworked, trying to provide so much with so little, and I recognize that, but also at the same time, for the individuals that are there, so that's the larger picture that I'm talking about. To the smaller piece now, for women or individuals that are in agencies that are providing support for women, please be sensitive. Please understand each individual situation and try to address it on an individual basis. The one-size-fits-all doesn't work, cannot work. Because for me, it was, I needed someone that can empathize, that can have an ear. I needed someone that would listen, someone that would not so much provide the advice, again, but provide the support. Maybe this is what here is how we can help you. Now, I have my own home, which I bought while I was with my partner. I was married. So getting into a shelter, and I did attempt to go into a shelter. And when I went to the shelter, it was a shelter for mentally challenged individuals. And I left because I didn't feel safe in that environment. and I came back to my home. But here was the individual that I didn't want to be with. So when I called, I was given a number that I can call at any time, and I can probably get into a shelter. So again, it goes back to the larger piece. There weren't spaces. I couldn't take my kids. I had to leave my kids because they were over 14 years of age and they were boys. So how am I going to go to a shelter and I'm safe, but I leave my boys who were also experiencing what I was experiencing with their dad? So again, how do you fashion something that works? How as individuals do we come together in dialogue to meet the needs of those women that are being abused? Because so often we can walk away. But what happened to the kids? Because the kids cannot go into the environment with their mom if they're not a certain age. So again, when we look at the needs of the abused women, there are so many factors that has to be taken into consideration for us to meet her need. Like I said, personally, I found one woman when I called on the phone, and she remained, we don't meet. I met her in an office once, but ever so often she would still call and check in with me. How are you doing? What is happening? Where are you? She encouraged me, get back into your coaching. That meant so much to you. You need to be doing this. Women need you. And she felt that was some external validation. But so often when we get to the agencies and we get to individuals, either they're overworked, and ladies and men, I understand, underpaid, and you're trying to do a whole lot with very little. Really doesn't work for us. You feel disrespected. You feel no one understands. The situation becomes exasperated because your partner is still there.